All right, I'd like to call the public hearing section of the Warrenton Board of Aldermen meeting for Tuesday, March 15, 2016 to order. First item on the public hearing would be the Fairgrounds Villa SP PUD 91A. Jack Hanna, please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor and Board.
Good evening, Jeff.
First item I have is site plan approval request for Fairground Villas, SP PUD 91A. It's proposed plan unit development. I'd like to ask to make part of the public hearing record the municipal code by reference, my planning and zoning report, and the public hearing notices. On June 18, 2015, a request was filed for approval of a preliminary site plan for a plan unit development with senior citizens apartments to be located at 608 Fairgrounds Road. Property is Zone C3 Highway Commercial. Motion for approval passed 6-0 with 1 abstention, 2 absent, and 1 vacancy at the March 3rd, 2016 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting with no additional conditions. And the applicants are here this evening if you have specific questions for them and their engineer.
Are we asking questions now or later?
I believe later.
Later.
It'll be more of an open session to be able to do that. If there's anybody from the public who'd like to come forward, you have a 5-minute maximum to be able to speak. I do believe we are covering this in the agenda as well. So, not seeing any, we'll move on to the next section of the public hearing, the Fairgrounds Villa conditional use program permit, 43A. This is a conditional use permit approval request for Fairground Villas, CUP PUD 43A, a proposed plan unit development. I'd also like to ask to make part of the public hearing record the municipal code by reference, public hearing notices, and my planning and zoning report. On June 18, 2015, a request was filed for approval of a conditional use permit for a plan unit development with senior citizens apartments to be located at 608 Fairgrounds Road. Property is Zone C3 Highway Commercial. The motion for approval passed 6-0 with 1 abstention, 2 absent, and 1 vacancy at the March 3rd, 2016 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, with the conditions that the covenants and restrictions are reviewed by the city attorney, and any revisions or recommendations by the city attorney are part of the Board of Aldermen's consideration, and that this development remains a senior housing development for 30 years. Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome, sir.
There again, it's open to the public. If anybody has any concerns or anything to voice, we actually keep it to a 5-minute maximum. Come up to the podium, state your name, and state your business. Not seeing anyone, I will bring the public hearing section of the Warrenton Board of Aldermen meeting for Tuesday, March 15, 2016 to a close. I will now open the regular Warrenton Board of Aldermen meeting for March 15, 2016 at this time. If you all would please rise and say Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda would be the consent agenda.
First item, letter A, is work session minutes from March 1st, 2016 on the presentation of the draft feasibility study. We have the regular meeting minutes from March 1st, 2016, executive session minutes from March 1st, 2016, the monthly grounds and maintenance report, monthly public works report, monthly police report, monthly building and code enforcement report, and the monthly admin report.
Any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Alderman Deloy, seconded by Alderperson Casterly. If I could have a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Casterly?
Yes.
Alderman Ock is absent. Alderman Deloy?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. All right. Next item on the agenda would be hearing from the public. There again, same rules. We're just asking that you keep it to a 5-minute maximum. Come up and state your name and your business, please. All right, not seeing anyone, we'll move on to hearing from the Board of Aldermen.
Okay. I'll go real quickly. I'd like to remind the public of our noisy iPads. I would like to remind the public of our Easter egg hunt on Saturday. I don't know that we have that mentioned anywhere else in our minutes, but it's down in Binkley Woods, and it was a great time last year. We had a great turnout, so hopefully the weather will behave so everybody can enjoy the Easter egg hunt. I'd also like to mention that I think the election has been pretty heavily held this time around. Is that a proper way to say that? So I hope everybody who came out to vote for the presidential election will also come out the first Tuesday in April. Hope we have a good showing there as well. As you can see, we have some board vacancies, so not him, he's just vacant. Okay. Let's pick on him. We should have propped up our poster.
Anything else?
I don't have.
All right. Moving on to the mayor's comments. To be honest with you, couldn't think of much to say today just because I was enjoying the day. It's pretty nice out today. Just to be flat out honest. I enjoyed it, loved it. I love this weather. I can't wait for more of it. But I do want to springboard off that and say we have employees that work really hard on the Easter egg hunt, and I appreciate that from them. But please come out and enjoy it. And if you didn't receive the letter, I really like that was put together today, or this year. Or I guess
What?
it wouldn't be quarter, would it?
The semi-annual
The
newsletter?
The
newsletter?
semi-annual, yeah, newsletter.
The spring newsletter.
If you hadn't received it, or for some reason it didn't get to you, please come up and see if you can get a copy from us. It's got a lot of informative stuff that goes on within our city, and it has a calendar for different events throughout the year. So appreciate it, and we'll move on. Next item would be the introduction of Ashley Todd as a part-time animal control officer.
Thank you, Mayor. Ashley, if you would. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ashley Todd. She's our new part-time animal control officer. It took us a while to get this position filled, but we're very excited to have her, and I think she's pretty excited to be here, too.
It's nice to meet you, Ashley.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda would be the Moxon Drive improvement bid tabs from Cochran Engineering.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Aldermen. I'm Eric Kirchner with Cochran Engineering. On March the 8th at 11 a.m., we opened bids on a project called Moxon Drive Improvements, and we received 6 bids in that bid opening, so it was a pretty good turnout. The low bidder was TS Banzi Construction Incorporated. Upon review of their bid and all the documents, everything looks to be in compliance, don't have any issues, and we would recommend that the board award the contract to TS Banzi Construction. Any questions? I'm more than happy to answer them.
Any questions or comments?
No?
All right, thank you. All right, I'll entertain a motion to award the Moxon Drive Improvement Project to TS Banzi Construction in the amount of $49,990, the low bid. The budget amount was $104,600.
So moved.
Second.
Saved us some money.
Motion made by Alderperson Hawley, seconded by Alderman Dreyer. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Casterly?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy?
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0 with one absent. Next item on the agenda would be the improvements project.
I'm really sad that Gary's not here for that.
I'm sure you are.
Come back?
Oh, I can do this one.
Okay.
I'll let Guy speak
Well,
first.
don't jump at once, guy.
Okay. The next item is for approval for Cochran Engineer to do construction administration, inspection, and material testing for Moccasin Drive improvement for the amount of $5,665.
You guys have any questions in regards to that?
So we're just requesting bids?
I'm sorry.
We're just requesting bids? Or is this just their fee to?
I need approval for the contract for the material.
For the
To do
administration.
the survey piece, okay.
Any questions?
No, I have none.
Questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Cochran Engineering.
Mayor, there are a couple of things with this one we need to make sure we get corrected before it's approved for signing.
Okay.
In the actual agreement itself, it shows that the contract contains a binding arbitrary provision which may be enforced. The city attorneys informed me that we cannot sign anything with such a clause in it. Also, in the attached terms and conditions, in item number 26, we've requested that the language be stricken that says the limitation is limited to the lesser of the contract price. We've asked that that language be stricken so that the limitation on liability is equal to the professional liability insurance. So I would recommend that a motion for approval be made subject to those two changes being made in the agreement.
Do we want to have that in the motion, or do we just want to go ahead and postpone it until we get this contract straightened out? Okay. So the provisions would be line 26, or item number 26, and go over those again, Terry.
In the agreement itself, on the third page, just before the signature, is language saying that this contains a binding arbitration provision, which we're asking to be stricken. And then in item 26, the language limiting it to the lesser of the contract price.
And I would just make a note that also is corresponding paragraph number 24 that we're requesting be stricken as well, which is the arbitration provision. My objection to it is, it says at Cochran's option. Obviously, if we're going to do an arbitration, it would be at either party's option. We're not going to agree to a single-sided arbitration provision like that. I think it's
So line 24 covers arbitration. So
paragraph 24 and also the line above the signature line.
Line above signature.
You could just make the motion subject to approval of the recommended changes
We don't need to
at the
list
discretion
changes.
of the city attorney.
Maybe the easiest thing.
I'm glad you're making the,
I was thinking the same
I'll go ahead
thing.
and entertain a motion to approve the Cochran Engineering to do the construction administration, inspection, and material testing for Moccasin Drive Improvement Project in the amount of $5,665 with the provisions of the city attorney's
Changes to the agreement.
changes to the agreement on the, by this, and agreed upon by the city, our city attorney.
So moved.
somebody has a question real quick.
Sure.
So is this
Before we go through it.
unusual that, this wording, is this something new that we haven't seen?
I have never seen that provision in this contract. My position on arbitration provisions are, they're fine, but not one-sided where one party would determine whether or not it would go to arbitration or not.
I was just curious because we do a lot of business together and why this was in here.
There's some changes. It looks like they're using a new form. They're not just using their general terms and conditions form that they had used
We
previously.
updated our terms and conditions the end of last year, probably.
Okay.
So probably post whatever our most recent contract was with
Yeah.
you. So there's some new stuff in there that Probably hasn't been seen by you guys before, so we've already talked about item 26, and don't have any problem with that. I'll just have to speak with our guys about the arbitration. I'm sure we can get that worked out.
Yeah.
So, because we do a lot of business together, are we gonna have to do this every time?
No, once we figure this out, then next time.
We-
it'll be
When we
the
took
same
it out
thing.
last time, we worked it out.
All right, great, thank you.
All right, so the motion on the floor has been made by Alderperson Hawley and seconded by Alderman Deloy. If we could have a roll call vote, please.
Alderperson Kessley?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. All right, next on the agenda would be the Highway 47 sidewalk and lighting improvements bid tabs. Veterans Memorial to Ashland Street East Side, and that's for Cochran Engineering as well.
Now, Gage.
All right, again, Eric Kirchner, Cochran Engineering. On March 8th, we also opened bids for the Highway 47 sidewalk improvements from Veteran Memorial to Ashland, which will be on the east side. Sidewalk and lighting to match what's currently on the west side. We received 6 bids on that day, so it was a pretty good day for opening bids. Low bidder was Meyer Electric Company Incorporated for $227,260.20. Review all the bid documents, everything seems to be in order. They seem to be a legitimate bidder and all their subs are in order, so we would recommend that the Board of Aldermen accept and award the bid to Meyer Electric Company Incorporated. Got any questions? More than happy to answer.
And our budget for this was?
$350,400.
Yeah, so we're well under budget.
Yes. Any questions? Comments? Thank you. All right, I'll entertain a motion to award the Highway 47 sidewalk and lighting improvement project to Meyer Electric Company in the amount of $227,260.20, the low bid. The budget amount was $350,400. Before I go forward with this, is there any corrections that we need in this?
There will be in the next component of this, which
But
is
this
the
one is okay.
Cochran agreement, yes.
All right, I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderperson Casterly, seconded by Alderman Deloy. If I could have a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Kessley?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent.
Do we have any idea of time frame?
We should be, with award tonight, we'll be getting the documents to the contractor probably tomorrow or the next day to get the contracts executed, then we'll get the bonds and get the insurance. Then we'll get it to the city for execution, so that probably takes a week to 2, and then we'll set up a pre-construction conference to get going. So probably looking at middle of April, early May, we should be ready to start the contract on that one.
And do you have any idea how long you expect it to last?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember how many calendar days we had in that one. I apologize, I don't remember. Do you have, remember? Yeah, I don't remember either, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
I don't remember.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
All right, next on the agenda will be the approval of Cochran Engineering to provide construction administration services for the Highway 47 sidewalk and lighting improvement projects.
The amount for that is $17,559 for the construction administration and
Yeah.
testing.
Do you have any questions or comments?
Do we need to make the same changes then?
Yes.
Okay.
Same lines?
Yes.
24, 26 in the line above the signature.
Any other questions or comments on this? Okay, I'm gonna try and get through this. I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve Cochran Engineering to do the construction administration inspection and material testing on Highway 47 sidewalk and lighting improvement project in the amount of $17,559, contingent upon the revisions as advised by our attorney and approved by our attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderperson Hawley, seconded by Alderman Dreyer. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Kessley?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent.
This will be exciting for our community. It's be really, really nice. Note that, Tim.
Next item on the agenda would be hearing from the Director of Operations Finance Officer, Terry Thorne.
I only have a couple of updates for you. Karen stole my Easter egg hunt thunder.
It wasn't on here.
That's okay, at least the word got out. There is a comprehensive plan meeting on Wednesday, March 23rd at 6:30 PM. This will be the meeting to start to look at the preliminary draft plan. So mark your calendars on that. That will be held in the lower level at the First Community State Bank. And then to let you know that league registrations have ended. Our numbers are actually up 108 additional registrants this year over last year.
Excellent. Sounds like all's going well for the tournament schedule as well.
I think so, and I think the addition of the spring soccer was received very positively. So
The middle school kids are excited about it.
that's great. That's really great. So numbers are up. That's a good thing. That's all I have.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda would be hearing from Ground and Maintenance Director, Brad Boothcruz.
You have the bid test for the portable toilet for the year. Wanted to go with the O'Fallon sewer for $1,650. This also includes the 28 toilets for the fall festival.
Well, I, for one, Brad, am very excited about those 28 toilets for the Fall Festival. I'll entertain a motion for the, or is anybody any questions or comments I should ask?
Pretty straightforward.
All right, I think so too.
I'll keep mine to myself.
I'll entertain a motion for the, to award the portable toilet bid to O'Fallon Sewer Services in the amount of $1,650, the low bid.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Alderman Deloy, seconded by Alderman Dreyer. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Casterly?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent. Next item on the agenda will be hearing from the Chief of Police, Greg Heisel.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, all. So I was delighted to be chosen to be on this committee to help choose the new telephone system. Actually, everybody worked together really well and found out some interesting things. All of these systems are essentially the same from a feature standpoint that were bid. So we really kind of started looking at the lowest bidders. One of the bidders was actually disqualified because they came in with a cloud solution, and we felt uncomfortable with that. So we looked at the two low bids. That was Americom Imaging and Electronic Office Systems. And we did site visits for both of those, and they did demos on both of those for us on those sites. And in the end, the Americom Imaging really kind of stood out for a couple of reasons. One, they are actually the low bidder. Secondly, long-term ownership actually ends up being a little bit less for us. If you look at the maintenance over 5 years, I mean, the total cost for owning it over 5 years is $25,200, and Electronic Office Systems is $30,800. We hope to get a little bit more time out of these, but you know, newer systems are not like the one that we have now, just are not going to last like that one did. So that was one of the things. One of the biggest things that kind of stood out was scalability, though. With the Mitel from Electronic Office Systems, every station required a license. So if we were to add another desk set, or maybe we wanted to put another receptionist in or something, each one of those components would cost more money to get licensed. With the Digium system from Americom, everything is included. So you know, we can add additional desk sets without additional cost. We can actually, their switchboard application is a web application, and anybody that we give access to it can have access to that and be able to see basically the whole system, or whatever pieces of the system we want them to see. So for example, in the police department, they could actually see all the phones in the police department and see who's on the phone or not. So that actually was kind of nice. In the electronic office systems, there were only 2 licenses for that, which would be for upfront. The rest of them would be additional cost. So really, we really zeroed in on Americom. The couple of places that we talked to were happy with the service that they got after the sale, as well as the initial installation. So we really have no problem recommending the Americom imaging systems and the Digium system from them. Just a point about the budget difference. Our initial budget guidance was actually based on the same system that Americom has proposed, but it was a smaller hardware system that had no redundancy and was not nearly as scalable as the one that was ultimately bid. And the company that gave us that budget guidance did not actually provide a quote. So that's why we ended up being off a little bit on that. I believe they will make a budget adjustment later on in the year to account for that.
Or we can take it out of Guy's budget.
What's the time frame for making the change?
They'll have to order the pieces and parts in. The beauty of these VoIP systems is they're going to be able to be installed on the desktop in addition to the existing phones, so they can operate in parallel for a while. People can get familiar with it and comfortable with it, and then when everybody feels good about it, they'll come in and flip the switch and we'll be on that system and off the old one.
Nice.
So I think 6 to 8 weeks we'll have that in place.
Great.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? All right. Thank you.
I need approval to.
Right.
Okay.
Just saying thank you.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to award the telephone system bid to Americom Imaging Systems Incorporated in St. Louis, Missouri in the amount of $25,249, the low bid.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Alderman Deloy, seconded by Alderman Dreyer. Roll call vote, please.
Alderperson Kessler?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with 1 absent.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you. Next on the agenda will be hearing from zoning officer and building commissioner Jack Ham.
Next item I have is a special event permit approval request. The Warrenton High School Band Boosters Mud Bog SEP 19 to be held at Warren County Fairgrounds on May the 7th, 2016. Motion for approval passed 7-0 with 2 absent and 1 vacancy at the March 3rd, 2016 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting with no additional conditions, and the applicants are here if you have specific questions for them.
Any questions or comments?
I think we've taken care of it. Anytime so. You did want to point out, though, that you do have a new setup, right?
Yes, I do.
Come on up to the podium, please. If you would, just state your name.
My name's Linda Scott, and I'm the president of the Warrenton High School Band. So this is my fundraiser, the Mud Bog. And the pit has always been out in the, up in where we do the demolition derbies and everything. Besides the expense cost of moving the dirt from there to there, they decided the fair board wanted to put a permanent pit in. So it's actually up there in the motocross track where it will stay. It will not move. And it actually creates more safer for the people, I think. We were 50 foot from the edge of the pit to the spectators. Now we're 75 feet from the spectators. So, I mean, it made it that much better. And the way the fencing is, there's 300 chain link fence. Then we're adding an additional 250 foot of hog panel fence. So nobody will go in there except for, we'll have one link off for the firefighters, or ambulance, anybody that needs to get in there ASAP. So it's actually be better.
Any questions or comments?
Nope.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the special event permit for the Warrenton High School Band Boosters Mud Bog on May 7th, 2016, being recognized as SEP-19.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderperson Casterly, seconded by Alderperson Holly. If I get a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer,
Yes.
Alderman Holly,
Yes.
Alderperson Casterly.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda would be the Fairgrounds Villas SP PUD 91A. I'm sorry.
This is the site plan approval request for Fairground Villas, the proposed plan unit development to be located at 608 Fairgrounds Road. And it looks like the representative from the engineering company is wanting to speak.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. I'm Brandon with Lewis and Beatty. We have here the applicant, Carla Potts with Northeast Community, and we have the owner, Mike Marty with Allied Construction, and I'm here to answer any questions you guys may have.
I have a question. So when we looked at this previously, I don't remember how many months ago, there was like a walking trail that's not there anymore. What happened with that?
Which walking trail? I don't remember removing a walking trail.
I think that was the other one that we looked at.
Okay.
Because we had a walking trail around the pond, and it's still there, and then there's walking trail around the perimeter that will tie into the city sidewalk along the Fairgrounds Road
There is still
and Fairlane Circle. Yeah. If you flip over to the landscape plan on the backside, it's a little bit easier to see. It doesn't have all the contours.
Okay.
A lot less busyness going on that side.
I think what, Tony, you can correct me if you're wrong, but I think what Tony was referencing, when this came up in front of the board, we had two separate options that came before us to support senior living. And
Sure.
that's what we did at that time. That was nothing more. We didn't have any plans. We didn't have anything to go by. And the other plan that we looked at had a really nice walking path, wooded area and construction, which we really liked a lot. I've got concerns about this facility, and one of them, tying on to Tony's point, is there doesn't seem to be a lot of free, open green space, which, for what we're looking at for senior housing, it would be nice, especially since they're so far away from any park or anything, it would be nice to have some type of green landscaping, walking area. Do you want Ed to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my concern is, if you go off of this property, there's really not any place else for them to walk.
Sure.
That there needs to be, I think, something more that
And what we
exercise.
sure, and what we have proposed, we have interconnected, sidewalks along all of it, and then you have there's going to be the detention basin. They're going to utilize that and make that a wet pond, so it'll have some water there, something nice to look at. And then there'll be park benches and a walking trail all the way around that pond. So if they wanted to go, walk a few laps around the pond, they could, and then they, could walk to anybody else's units.
Would there be any, trees or any, because right now it's just open place. I mean, I can't imagine a senior citizen walking in the daytime with absolutely no trees or any vegetation at all.
shade.
And the pond itself has to be a certain depth. or
Sure.
It doesn't do its job.
Sure,
so-
yeah, yes, that's correct, yeah. We see, we've got a water level of a 34, and I believe we have a bottom of a 27 or 28, so it's gonna have 7 to 8 feet of water in it, so it'll, that's
Yeah, but they won't be able to get to it. I mean, you won't be like having a bench near that water. Just
sure, yeah,
because
the benches would be on the backside of the, kind of like what they have out there at Binkley Woods, where you got the walking trail, and then you've got some park
Yeah.
benches.
I would just like to see some more vegetation over there. I just feel like that's going to just turn into a retaining pond with nothing for the senior citizens to actually utilize through that. I have a couple. Do you have any more?
No, go ahead.
I have a few other things that I think we need to look at on here. One, After we looked with these wonderful reading glasses very closely to the plan, it looks like the plan is to build fence line that's over the building, fences beyond the building property, and that's something that we don't approve in the city, so I have a problem with that. And I know that makes that area very short, but in my opinion, we've never had a project with this many units in here. So if the fact of the matter is that there's no space to give adequate yard space, then I think it needs to be redrawn where you have fewer units to give yourself a little more room for living. But you can't have a fence over that property line.
And I'm sorry, we went back and forth on this and about, do we stick it back on the building line, and really cram it to a few of these units. Some of them it's okay, but specifically on like building 7, the fourplex one, it gets pretty tight there, and then along the back side of building number 3, it gets tight there. So
my personal opinion is you knock that whole section out, add yourself a little green space, because then that adds to my other problem. When you come up this road, all people are going to see are the back sides of houses.
And that was part of the neighboring, when they had a community meeting out there with the neighbors, that was something they requested, is we don't want to see the back, we really don't want to see the back side of the units. We would really like to see some sort of a buffer, and so they had requested vinyl fence or something along those lines.
Well, my request to you would be to knock out that whole section, because there's so many here. You don't.
Karen, of building 7, is that what you're referencing?
I'm looking at where you on building 7.
Building 7 is the 4th, the one that's turned.
No, actually, I'm talking over here on Fairground Road.
And not Fairlane Circle.
Yeah, not Fairlane Circle. I'm talking when you're coming west on Fairground and you're pulling into the neighborhood. All of these homes that are buttoned up against Fairground Road, if you put that fence on their property line, you've got no backyard. You can't build over the property line with the fence. That's just not acceptable in the city. And since there's so many units here, which is just more than I think any of us conceived this project would be, I would prefer that whole section just doesn't exist and you use that as part of your green space. But also, considering this is senior housing, and once again, I've got my glasses on, so I admit that I'm partially blind, but I found 4 handicap parking spots. And we're talking senior housing.
Sure, and what that is there's a certain designation for units that are specifically handicap accessible.
Well, I get that, but you and I both know not
Sure.
everybody needs to pull a wheelchair.
Sure.
But some people just cannot walk a long distance to their car. So
And that's why every unit has at least 2 parking spaces in front of it for the people that live there.
Yeah.
So
that would be my recommendation there. The other thing
But
that
those parking places aren't designated
No,
for
they're
a
not.
unit.
they're just 2 per.
They're just 2 per.
right.
And I think the biggest problem I have is right now I have no idea where you're putting the sewer.
The sanitary.
Let me interrupt for a
The
moment, because
sewer.
we are 8 minutes into it. We have 2 more minutes before we have
Okay.
to start moving on.
Well, this is pretty important,
I
so
understand, but to the regulation.
where's the sewer?
The sewer line, if you see the part where it says proposed off-site sewer main, I can come up there and show it to you maybe easier.
It's on the map.
Oh.
Map
Behind you.
here.
Okay. Can we zoom out to maybe the whole thing? Oh, it's really hard to see there.
Welcome to my world.
The sewer line is coming from off of the, behind the fire department. And then it's gonna come along here, here.
Do we know, Guy, is there enough capacity for that many units on that sewer line? I mean,
Be an
is that-
8-inch main, yeah.
Is that something we've looked into?
I'm sorry.
I mean, is that something we've looked into?
Yeah, it can take it. I mean, it's a standard 8-inch main that's going through there. And all it's picking up is the subdivision off of 47. What is it, Maple Hills is picking up them few houses there, and then it all runs down to an 18-inch main. And everything on top of that is running down Fairlane Circle to the lift station. So you're looking at probably 8 houses, and then the fire department and ambulance district, and then be that complex there.
And then where are the fire hydrants on this thing?
The fire hydrants are the little circle with the two, I'll point you on the big map here. We have a fire hydrant,
Okay, well, not the offsite.
there's a fire hydrant
That's what she's
here,
asking you about.
fire
Karen,
hydrant here, there's a fire hydrant here, there's one here, and there's one here. We have given this to the fire department, and they have said that it's adequate, more than adequate.
excuse me, Karen?
Yeah.
All that I've looked at is what's on this map. I have not seen no plans for running behind the fire department,
That's correct.
none of that. So all I approved was the complex. The off-site sewer, that where it's running to, I have not approved that because I have not seen that.
And the fire department is in the works of approving that, because the fire department has to grant an easement. So the fire department is approving that. So they had us, we did a preliminary mock-up of it. They asked us to change a few things. So we changed a few things, and so they're putting it back before their board for approval.
Karen, I agree with you on the fence line going over the line there.
Board, I just want to, I want, in all fairness to Lewis and Beatty, I do want to let you know that Brandon did call me about the fence. In our site plan provision, it does allow, Brandon asked me, he said, over the building line, can we request that it be over the building line? The site plan does allow for the board to grant a variance for building over the building line, but it's totally within your discretion. And I just, in fairness to Brandon, he did call, he wasn't like trying to sneak it on there. He
No,
called and said,
that's fine, sure.
hey, here, this is what our idea is. And he did ask me that question. I just want to make sure the
Yeah.
board's
No,
aware
that's
of that.
fine. I mean, this is the first time we're actually talking about an actual scene of something in front of us, and this is not,
Sure.
this is not somebody trying to build a 2-story house on a half-acre lot. So,
Mhm.
This is serious stuff that for 30 years we need to make sure we're doing it right. If I was living near this area, I would have concerns as well, and people have voiced their concerns. Did you have something else, Tony?
No.
Did I use up my 2 minutes?
No, actually.
I'm still digesting it all.
Yeah.
So if the fence was taken off, we're still showing the back of buildings.
Right.
Which the neighbors don't want, which I get. I'm sure you don't want to lose the units, because obviously you want as many units as you can get. Is there a different plan that could put fewer along there that would be like sideways instead of long ways?
Or could you
That
flip
could-
them around
could
to
you-
where the front of the home's face and you walk in the back?
Where the front,
Can you put the parking on the front of those?
I don't think you want the parking on the front of them, because then
No,
everybody's.
I mean, can you flip it to where the buildings face the road and the parking's around the back?
Oh.
That's what I prefer.
I mean, it would.
On
look-
that, are you saying flip that one unit?
Yes.
Does that work? I'm not sure how that works as
Yeah,
far as the building
Yeah. But-
configuration, or,
Yeah, I mean, that's something, I mean, that I think I'd like you to look for options. I mean,
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not in the mood to approve this based on some of these concerns tonight. So if there were some additional options that could come in to make this a more pleasant view, I think that would be a much better result.
And then you wouldn't use the fence.
Yeah, then you wouldn't need the fence because you'd be facing.
Jack, do we need the fence
Yeah,
to meet
yeah.
the, there's a,
They do need-
Screening requirements.
screening
It does not
requirement.
have to be a fence.
Sure.
It could be trees,
It could be hedges
vegetation,
or.
it could be a berm. I believe from conversation with them
Mhm.
that per their previous on-site meetings with the local residents, they decided to go with the fence, but it can be a tree screen, it could be a landscape berm. There's several options. It does not have to be a fence, but the screening is required because it abuts R1 zoning district.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that would be more
Is
pleasing to
why it's
the
required.
eye.
Yeah, and the concern with basically they like the fence because it's easy maintenance for both sides. You know, they can get on both sides and maintain it. You know, hedges are always a constant, you know, they're a constant issue, and you get, you know, being along a road, you catch debris, and you know, who knows what, you know, if you put hedges along there, who knows what you'll pick up, you know, during Fair Week.
Yeah.
You know, all the cups and such.
I just like, you know, to argue the other side of that, because we got some bad looking fences in
Sure,
this town
sure.
that don't get maintained, and we're
Mhm.
talking 30 years. So, I mean, we have to you have to look at the sewer anyway, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
On the
They gotta
back,
come up with a plan.
but not through the site plan. You're talking about further from the site plan, correct?
Yes.
So if we don't approve this tonight, or can we hold off on looking at other options?
Yeah, I mean.
What are our options?
I mean, that's what I would suggest, is that, you know, based on the conversation tonight, we want to do this right for everybody.
Sure.
We appreciate the senior housing. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, this is very important. We all agree that senior housing is very important to our community. But something this large and this many units, we need to do it right for the entire city. So I think if you can go back and maybe answer some of those questions, get some new views.
And maybe put some trees over in the park open space,
Mhm. Make it actually look
so that
park-like.
it would provide some shade around that walking trail. And can we put in a couple of additional handicap parking places in?
So, I guess my question on that is, with this, do we just go ahead and go with the agenda of the site plan and whether it is or isn't, or?
Well, I mean, obviously, the board can just pass it to the next meeting.
Postpone it till the next meeting?
Yeah, for consideration for the recommended changes, if that's what you want to do. I mean, because you have two people absent, it's going to take 4 votes for the
Right.
ordinance to be approved anyway, so.
Because it won't be approved without it, with the majority of the board.
Yeah, so you have to have a majority of the board seated, so you're going to need 4 votes. So I don't know that you have unanimous vote right now to approve it, so I don't know that they want to put it up to a vote right now. They may want to wait and maybe consider some of the proposals and postpone it to the next meeting to take those into account.
That's what I would recommend we do.
I would agree with you, Karen.
It's not that we don't want
Sure.
the project.
Sure.
Because we do want the project. It's just we want to make sure it's right.
Sure.
So I take that, Chris, that would also include the conditional use permit if the site plan was not approved?
Yeah, I
correct?
think it would make sense to take them up together, because they may come back and want an additional variance in the site plan by trying to move the buildings around. It probably makes sense, Brandon, to
So-
postpone.
Sure, yeah,
both of them.
keep them together, because one's no good without the other.
Well, yeah, and you may, when you go back and look at that one unit, you may say, well, we have to do this, or,
Mm-hmm.
Is that pretty reasonable? Brendan?
Yeah.
I mean, speaking with your people?
I think that's in the best thing to do here.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Brandon.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to postpone the Fairground Villa SP PUD-91A and CUP PUD 43A to a time where we can address the concerns of the board.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderperson Hawley, seconded by Alderman Deloy. Roll call vote.
Alderman Jarrett?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Kessler?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with 1 absent. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Jack, I believe the next item on the agenda would be the Harbor Place SP 87, revised offsite sewers.
Yeah, the last item I have is just an information for the board to make you aware of. The Harbor Place SP 87, some revised off-site sewers. On December 16th, 2014, the site plan for Harbor Place was approved per ordinance 2206. On February 25th, Musler Engineering Company submitted plans to the Director of Public Works with revised locations for the proposed off-site sanitary sewers for his review and approval. On March the 2nd, I received an email from Guy informing me that he approved the revised location, and it was just basically to, since you guys approved the original site plan, just to bring you up to speed where they are requesting to reroute the sewers.
Any questions or comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the revised off-site sewers for Harbor Place SP-87.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderperson Casterly, seconded by Alderman Deloy. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Kessler?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent.
They're making quite the progress over there, Jack. Looks good.
Yep.
All right, next item on the agenda, and thank you, Jack.
You're welcome, sir.
Next item on the agenda would be hearing from Public Works Director Guy Jeevers.
First item I have is an update on Buckhorn Court and Hawthorne Hills Drive for the stormwater assessment. I received the report from Cochran today, laying out the information. I didn't have time to go through it and meet with him to go through it, but I do have the report, so I'll have more at the next meeting.
So your update is that you're going to update us?
Yes, I'll bring the update, but I do have the report.
I don't think he gets the humor in it. The update to the update, but thank you for the update.
Update for the update.
It's the revision to the revision.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then the next item I have is, this is the jobs that need to be approved. Binkley Woods parking lot for $18,414. That's to resurface the parking there. And the budget amount was $18,500.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Dave? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Binkley Woods parking lot project in the amount of $18,414.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Deloy, seconded by Alderperson Holly. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Alderperson Kessler?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent.
Next item I have is the replacement of the culvert at Spectre Lake and by the dock. I broke it up separately, and the budget amount for the two is $5,200, and the project is $5,083.60.
And this is the main culvert that comes in from the south?
On the top of the hill, and then one right by the fishing dock,
Okay.
right by the fishing dock.
Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion to replace the culverts at Spectre Lake and Binkley Woods Park project in the amount of $5,083.60.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderperson Casterly, seconded by Alderman Dreyer. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Kessler?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent.
Next time I have is some culvert replacement on Veterans Memorial, Powell to St. Louis, right there in front of Warrenton Tire. The budget amount was $5,500. Project's going to cost $5,440.
Any questions, comments? All right.
We're up to 28,000.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the Veterans Memorial Stormwater Project at Powell to Lewis Street in the amount of $5,440.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Deloy, seconded by Alderperson Holly. For the roll call vote, please.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Kessler?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent.
Next item I have is the treatment plant road. This is where they're installing new equipment there at the wastewater plant. And the budget amount is $56,100. The project right now is $18,023.40. This is to get the road in so the contractors can get in. This is just the first part.
That's just the part of the,
what
yeah.
we need to do.
So this is a preliminary one, there's more to follow.
We won't spend your savings yet.
Any questions or comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the treatment plant road project in the amount of $18,023.40.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Dreyer, seconded by Alderperson Holly. If I can have a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Kessler?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent.
Next item I have is Wabash sidewalk from Steinhagen to Roosevelt. That's by the walking bridge. The budget amount was $5,000. The estimate project cost is $4,406.
And the one person that would be very proud of you coming under budget and doing something in that area is not here tonight to enjoy that.
We're all proud of you.
Yes,
Don't
we
take
are.
his comments wrong.
Guy, is this on the north or the south side of
It'll
Steinhagen?
be as you walk across the bridge, you're gonna go heading north and it'll be
On the north side, okay. So Gary gave you an easement?
No, we didn't need one. We're gonna put vertical curve.
Awesome.
I was waiting for
When does this start?
We're gonna do the sidewalk in the treatment plant road first. And then, because we don't want to go up and start ripping out the park for Saturday.
Oh,
So
okay.
then you'll come back to this.
The Easter egg hunt.
Okay.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Wabash sidewalk Steinhagen to Roosevelt project in the amount of $4,406.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderperson Holly, seconded by Alderperson Casterly. If I could have a roll call vote, please.
Alderperson Kessler?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absent.
Gary's gonna wish he was absent more often. Getting everything he wants.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
You know what a rash, I appreciate it. All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the regular Board of Alderman meeting and go into executive session for real estate.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderperson Holly, seconded by Alderman Dreyer. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderperson Kessler?
Yep. Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. We are so adjourned.